So today I'm going to talk about something which I've never really talked fully or very much in length and details about on this channel, and I'm going to talk about activism and volunteering, which are kind of different but go well together, I suppose you could say, because I have social anxiety and because it's such a big part of my life. Obviously my experience of activism and my experience of volunteering are very much, influenced and shaped by the fact that I have anxiety. So I guess this video is gonna be perhaps, maybe not everyone's gonna relate, because people who don't have anxiety won't necessarily find the experience of activism and volunteering as difficult as I find it. But I hope it helps others and inspires the ones of you who have anxiety, and that it motivates even more the ones who don't have anxiety but who are not activists or who are not volunteering at the moment. So there are different and various causes for which you could volunteer or be an advocate and an activist. For me personally, the main three are veganism, feminism, and I guess helping and protecting refugees and migrants. I am doing different things with these three causes. For veganism, I have, done many different things. I have protested. I have distributed leaflets. I have been into events that were not protests, but more like events. I have obviously had this channel for the longest time, in which I very often talk about veganism. I've always been very vocal about veganism at university, in my workplace. I buy clothes which carry vegan messages, and it very often starts conversations. Oh, I have also just like put, stickers and everything, that sort of stuff, like in supermarkets or in ads in the metro or in the streets. I think that's all I've done. And for me, veganism is the one cause that I find the most difficult to be an activist for or to volunteer for, because you can't really volunteer. The only way you could volunteer with veganism would be to volunteer at a rescue farm or something like that. And I feel like even though it's a beautiful and very useful thing, it's not necessarily very useful in combating or like fighting or battling the meat industry and the animal industries in general. With my anxiety, events and giving away leaflets and protesting and stuff are very, 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 very stressful. And when I say stressful, it does not even make justice to the feelings that I have anxiety and panic attacks. I get really tired. I get physically ill because of the anxiety, like headaches, migraines, stomachache, and just digestion problems. So I have tried many different times to be an activist and participate in this kind of activism for veganism, but I realized that it was not something that I can do at the moment with my mental health. And I feel very bad about it, because I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I should be doing much more. But I also have to realize that, it's not even that I have to realize, just I can't do it. So I have focused a lot on informing people and educating people and reaching out to people. So for me, my form of activism for veganism is a lot about communication and education, which I do on this channel, which I do on Twitter, which I do on Tumblr, which I do offline as well. I always talk about veganism when it's appropriate or relevant or like linked to whatever we're discussing in class or at work or with friends. I share information, and it's not seen as activism as you would, protesting and stuff. I still protest though, because that's still something I can do, or other form of activism, and it's definitely not as active and as like direct activism, but I think it's more of an accessible activism that everyone can do, that really has an impact. Because I get messages almost daily from people who are becoming vegan or turning vegan or who went vegan because they've seen that video, they've thought about a few of my videos and they've decided to go vegan. But if you're not someone with social anxiety, and if you want to help there are different ways you could help more with protests, with events, leaflets, giving away leaflets, with save actions, and a lot of different things. So for feminism, it's a bit more recent, like it's not recent like me being a feminist, but though it's definitely more recent than me being a vegan. And I have only very recently started to be more like vocal about it and just like more active about it. I don't think I'm really doing anything beside this channel. That's basically what I'm doing for feminism. I'm also helping some women when I'm teaching French as a foreign language. I mean, volunteering. So I guess that kind of, you know, mixes with feminism. I also really want to focus on gender studies and feminism and social justice if I ever become a literature teacher. So that's going to be one part of my activism, and hopefully if I become a teacher at university, I'll do research and I'll publish articles and stuff like that, and they're going to be centered around feminism, because that's really what I'm really interested in at the moment, and I think it's gonna last for a while. So that's gonna be one part of my activism, hopefully. The one cause that I am the most active in is the one with refugees and migrants, because I'm a teacher, I'm a French teacher, I studied to be a French teacher, I have a diploma for that, so I'm working as a French teacher. And my internship that I did, my first ever like work experience, my internship was with underage migrants. So I started with that, and it was something that I had wanted to do for a long time, and I was too shy and too anxious and too worried to even try. So I'm really grateful and really lucky that I got to experience this, first of all because it was a wonderful human experience, because I learned so much about myself, about others, and I met amazing people, and it really did change my life in a lot of ways. And then I stayed for about 7 months there, and then I started volunteering with migrants, adults, and I'm teaching 3 times a week, and I'm currently kind of like considering volunteering more with another organization. By the way, if you're French or not French and you're in Paris, or you're not in Paris but you want to send money or support whatever, there is a very wonderful organization which is called Utopia 56, which operates in Paris and in Calais. And they do a lot of things. They help migrants, they help them with administration, they help them with getting rooms and getting like hygiene products and clothes and getting warm and getting food and having access to a lot of different things. And they collect money and they collect clothes and they collect blankets and all sorts of things. And they also want to organize some French lessons, which I am perhaps gonna do with them. And the reason why it's easier for me to volunteer with this organization and for this cause is because it's not very stressful. Like, teaching French is something that I know I can do, it's something I'm used to doing, and it's a sort of like environment and situation that I'm used to, that I have control over. And the other kinds of volunteering are a bit more stressful, and sometimes, just meeting new people, other volunteers, and maybe being in a situation that I'm not prepared to face, or that I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. This is what could really trigger my social anxiety. It's not like, when you're advocating or when you're like an activist for veganism, very frequently you'll be in it's kind of like, it's not a conflict, but it's, you have an opposing group. When you're volunteering with migrants, it's not the same. You're just helping people, doing things with people, not against people. And for me, it doesn't trigger my social anxiety or my anxiety as much. The reason why I'm making this video is because I think we all have our little bits and our little part to do. Whether it's against racism, against xenophobia, against Islamophobia, against homophobia, against anything, or for veganism, or for equality, or for feminism, whatever. There are so many different ways that you can volunteer and be an activist, whether it's informing people, educating people, researching stuff, getting a job that enables you to be an activist, whether it's sending money, sending clothes, sending up any items, basically, whether it's protesting, signing petitions, calling your politicians men, whatever they're called in your country, and making pressure on them, whether it's being vocal about situations when you're with your friends, your colleagues, your boss, your family, anything, whether it's actually volunteering in a center or at an NGO or whatever it is. So basically what I'm trying to say is it's time that we do our part. The reason why I'm making this video is because you might have noticed a little bit of a shift in my understanding, or my, what would I say, in the way I think of those causes and our responsibility. I guess that I have become a bit more radical, and I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And I think we all have to acknowledge our responsibility, our duty, but also our power as citizens, basically. And I do believe it's our duty to do a little bit. I'm not saying everyone can do it, but I'm saying most of us can do it. And I just want to say that volunteering or being an activist, it really makes you feel better. It's not the reason why you're doing it, but it makes you feel better because you're useful, you're doing something good, and you know you're helping people, and you're helping, you know, living beings and the nature and the earth. The more you volunteer and the more you're in contact and in touch with people who are volunteering, the more you're open to, you know, fighting other inequalities, the more you're open to new experiences, cultures, and I think it really makes you a better person. It really makes you a better and a wiser person if you are willing enough to participate in these things. So I hope this was inspiring, and I'm also going to link a video in the down bar about accessible activism, which I find really nicely done. And let me know if you're volunteering, if not, why, and if you are considering doing it. I shall see you later. Bye!